Greetings fellow Pope defenders. In this video we'll be talking about a debate between Ryan Hemler aka NeedGod.net and Joe Heschmeyer from Shameless Popery. So they did this debate on the Apologetic Dogs channel, and he's also a Baptist. I believe he has similar views to Ryan, and Joe even made a little joke about that both of them need to be converted. So we'll be reading the comments, and my basic thoughts on this after watching the debate is that Joe Heschmeyer clearly won, and that's not a surprise, but I don't think it was his strongest performance. The points that really stood out for me was his opening statement when Ryan did the cross-examination of Joe. I thought Joe dominated him in his own cross-examination, and also the question and answer part. I thought that was fantastic. And now we'll read the comments to see who won the debates according to the comments on this Baptist channel. And so the first comment says, Ryan was predestined to take this L. Completely agree. Now we see Penelope over here, total Catholic victory. Completely agree. Ryan was cooked so many times, I was able to feed 5,000. Okay. The Catholic position for the easy win. Now understand this is a Baptist channel, and on this channel they often delete Catholic comments, even super chats, and keep that in mind as we continue reading. So here we read, this was exceptionally bad for Ryan. Joe completely demolished him. I laughed really hard when the mods told Catholics to be charitable, not to call anyone names, but then a mod called us godless, goddess worshippers, and mods allowed us to be called pagans. So yes, this is a Baptist channel. It's known for being completely biased, and we'll continue to read here. Ryan trying to remove parts of scripture that even Protestants accept was almost as bad, if not just as bad, as James White suggesting that Saint Ignatius didn't exist. Very interesting. So here we see Joe got the W, Ryan got the L. Prayers to all, great night, and God bless. Reading on, we can see here, as a Protestant, this is ridiculous. Saying faith saves, therefore baptism doesn't, is basically employing the argument people use for denying the Trinity. There's only one God, therefore Jesus can't be God. Completely agree with Lucas over there. I love how one of Ryan's arguments is that Mark 16 is invalid. Yes, Ryan rejected parts of Mark 16 due to modern textual criticism, and this is extremely bad for him because many textual critics, especially modern ones, have issues with many parts of the Bible. So if he actually had to go with non-Christian views of the Bible, he would exit Christianity. Ryan got demolished so bad that he's more of a Catholic apologist than a Protestant one. Yes, the people watching this debate that hold the Protestant position, they would be leaning towards the Catholic and the Anglican and Lutheran traditional views of baptism. They would definitely not side with Ryan if they have any common sense. Let's take a look here. As a historical Protestant, baptism does save. There was no singular reformer that didn't believe this. Completely agree. I used to think any denomination outside of Catholics, Orthodox and Coptic as Protestant, but now I see why actual Protestants get upset with that generalization, because American Evangelo-Baptistalism is something else. So here we read this one. No, you do not need to get paid to get baptized in the Catholic Church. There may be a donation option, but if you can't afford it, no parish can deny you receiving it. Yes, this is another bad objection brought up by Ryan, that people pay for services at the church. If you pay the church for services, the church is not a completely independent body that can sustain itself. It exists on donations. When Ryan wants to go evangelize in the Philippines, for example, his plane ticket is paid for by his fans that watch his content. So this is a bad argument that he brought forth. Joe is becoming a force to be reckoned with in his ability to defend Christ's church and her teachings. There isn't a debate he has lost, and so far listening is continuing his undefeated streak. The fact Ryan believes the entire church basically went into mass apostasy right after the apostles died is complete denial of Pentecost and Christ's promise in Matthew 16, verse 18. He essentially called Christ a liar. This man is beyond heretical, total apostate. Pray for his soul. Catholics, baptism saves. Orthodox, baptism saves. Lutherans, baptism saves. Anglicans, baptism saves. The Nicene Creed, baptism saves. Every confessional Christian until Zwingli, baptism saves. This is a problem because Zwingli actually changed his position later in his life. Ryan, everyone who believes baptism saves is denying the gospel and condemned forever. So Ryan believes if you think that baptism saves, you aren't saved. So this would mean all Christians prior to the Reformation that we know of, he would believe went to hell.